This is the Banner Engineering iVu Series TG Vision Sensor. The sensor has an integral front lens, light, as well as a touch screen on the back of the sensor. We're going to utilize this touch screen today to show you how we do an application to make sure that there are inserts inside a case that would typically carry 24 bottles of beer or soda, or also make sure that the inserts or 6-pack carriers are properly in place. The image that you currently are looking at is a case or a cardboard box with 4 6-pack carriers in it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach the sensor that this is the shape that it should be looking for. So if any of these 6-pack carriers are missing, if they're not fully seated down in the case, if one is laying on top or a bunch of them, or it's missing completely, the sensor will identify that. Here's how we go about teaching this sensor. Basically, I'm going to click on its back screen. You see a green grid pattern. Now, this green grid is showing you what the sensor sees as far as edge transitions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to click on the Teach button. Sensor is learning that pattern right now. And I'm going to go ahead and select on there. And now the sensor is utilizing that pattern to determine that it has good product in place. Now I can select through up here, this little button right here, and I can see the results of the inspections. I can also go ahead and look at, again, the pattern that it is looking for. But you'll also notice there's a green check mark up in the upper corner right here. What that green check mark represents is a passing application. I'm going to go ahead and pull out one of the 6-pack carriers, and we'll see what happens when I do that. Is we go to a red X with a down arrow, basically saying that this is below the match, percentage match that the sensor is looking for. To get an idea of what that percentage match is, I will go into the actual inspection and look at the percent match. And right now we have this set up for a 97% match. And right now it is slightly below that, missing this carrier. So what I can do is I can adjust this sensor down so that it is not as tight as it was at 97%, and it's still failing in the application. And so by having a removal of the one carrier, you'll see what happens there. Now if I go ahead and put the carrier back in place, we'll go back to a passing situation. So you can see the green check mark is again present, and our pass indication is extremely high right here. You can also be able to see a failure by pulling any of these out, or by putting one in and not fully seating it down. So let's say it's sitting on top, up high. So that is not an accurate match there as well. Or if it is partially seated, but maybe on an angle, where the machine that inserts it didn't properly place it. So it's not finding it in this case either. Now, all of the teach functions that I went through and did on the screen can be done with a remote push button as well. So you do not have to access the back screen to do that function. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to pull out these 4 6-pack carriers, and I'm going to insert a standard 24-bottle insert, as if you were buying non-returnable bottles in a 24 count case. So I'll pull out the 6-pack carriers, and I'm going to insert the actual insert that goes inside a standard case. Now what I'm going to do is put this guy in place. Make sure that our case is lined up somewhat yet. And then I'm going to teach it this new pattern. You see it's very similar to what it was looking for, but I'm going to come in here, click on the back, click Teach, and then allow it to do its function. So he's up and running. He's now changed over to look for the simple cardboard insert. Now once again, if I disturb this insert from what we're looking for, if I fold in a corner of it, you can see that it's failing. He's looking for a shape right over here, but he's not seeing it. So he's giving us a red X. So this would be an example of how the carrier has changed, or the insert has changed, and the sensor is identifying that. Now we can also go ahead and we can identify when this insert is not properly seated, such as this, where it's laying in on its side, or if it's put in different orientations and not properly placed. So as you look at this application, it's very easy to come up with a pattern, take that pattern, and allow the sensor to match according to that pattern. And again, this is all set up either through the back screen as far as the different match patterns that you're looking for, or those can also be established in a remote teach fashion. Again, this is the Banner iVu Series TG. If you have any questions, please feel free to call Banner Engineering. Thank you.